Good morning. My name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about AI, about what has developed in the author world and how it's impacting us. So, some of this is good, some of this is absolutely terrifying, and that's the whole purpose of my video. It has been quite a while since I've made a video, but this is a development that got my attention enough that I said, hey, you know what? I wonder what the author community thinks about this. So, for those that don't know, AI has been advancing really fast in the last 2 to 3 years, really fast. And we've seen Midjourney start making a lot of AI art that is terrifying artists because they realize that you can get art that you can use on a book cover for free from an AI instantly. It's crazy, and so there's a lot of fear generated around that, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I suspect what we'll see is that stuff won't be copyrightable or usable on commercial products eventually, because if it can, that's going to be a whole big problem. But for now, that's something that authors can do. You can actually get an AI generated cover and use that artwork, and it's saving people a lot of money. So I know quite a few people have moved in that direction. Things are changing fast, but what really got my attention is ChatGPT. So this came out recently, and it's using OpenAI. This is a framework which any program in the world could download, and you could start messing with this if you want to make your own AI. The OpenAI framework just released their latest version, and this latest version is crazy. It can pass the Turing test. And for those that know anything about AI, wow, that is insane. And it's advancing way faster than we thought that it could. So what this new AI can do is actually write novels or essays or anything else that you want it to. It can answer almost any question you can think of like a human, and it's smart enough that it can fool almost anyone. You won't know that you're dealing with a computer. What's it going to be like in a year? I mean, this is crazy. So, hence the question in the title of the video: should we as authors be afraid of what's coming? I, for one, am not as of yet, but I'm intensely interested to see how this is developing, because there's a nightmare scenario that I can't deny. I'm the guy who wrote Write to Market. Writing to market is exactly what an AI would excel at. You're going to get to a point where you have an AI that is smart enough that if you trained it on a specific genre, could generate saleable novels that are good enough that most readers are going to be fine with them. And what an AI cannot do is innovate. It can't actually create something from scratch. It can't make a new genre. It can't really break new ground in an effective way. And perhaps eventually we'll have AIs that can do that, but I don't really see that. That's one of the big limitations of artificial intelligence. They can only do the range of what you program them to do, whereas a human can come up with all sorts of crazy artwork or ideas or books that maybe have never existed before. So we have the creativity edge, which is amazing. And AI is becoming more useful for us in certain ways. So if you don't use Grammarly, I think you should. Grammarly used to be a joke when it came out. It didn't really find anything, but if you've used it, you may have noticed it's getting more and more and more accurate in the things that it tells you. So my novels are cleaned up just by running a pass through Grammarly, and I'm liking this tool a lot. It's definitely making my writing clean without, threatening me in any way. So as an author, I'm not completely terrified by AI yet, but its existence is definitely getting my attention. And if they can generate novels that are copyrightable, if you can just have an AI that spits out, 150 novels in an afternoon, you could flood genres, every genre, very easily with content, and in the same way that you're seeing happen with art right now. So I get why people are afraid, and I see how that could be a huge issue. But remember, what AI can't do is market. It can't understand how to look into new platforms and master them. It can't relate to your audience in the same way that you do. So, the relationship that we have with our audiences isn't something that can be easily duplicated. There are a lot of steps that need to be created and need to happen before an artificial intelligence would be a true threat. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm terrified that in 10 years that all those boxes that I just created will all be checked off. And you'll end up with AIs that can do all those things. So we're definitely seeing a change in both human evolution and human technology. It's nuts. And no one knows where it's going to land. And like most people, I'm kind of afraid, but I'm also very excited. Like, it's so cool to see the things that are happening. One of the things that I'm doing, and it's one of the reasons why you don't see me as much on the author scene, is I am learning to program again. I'm catching up in terms of what's changed since I was last a software developer, because I want to work with AI. I would like to build a robot in my garage and put an AI on it and start seeing what I can do. And I have everything I really need to do that now. I've been buying tools and learning things. And so AI for me is exciting. but it's also something that we have to be cognizant of authors. Yes, it can be a tool, but there's a very real risk of a content glut if it starts happening like it does with art. So I think the best things that we can do are double down on our craft. If we have the ability to influence the outcome of any sort of vote about how this is going to be handled going forwards, I come down on the side of AI generated content is copyrighted differently, because if it's not, we're going to be in a world of hurt. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. I am back. I'm going to take a minute now to talk about where I've been and sort of what's going on with me. So if you're just here for the video, now would be a good time to turn it off. Everything else is going to be about me. All right, so if you're still here, I said in the last video that I had a whole bunch of things planned. And, as usual, since my son was born, those things did not go quite as I expected them to. I broke my shoulder. I got myself a nice electric scooter, and I was riding it to work every single day. I put 100 miles on it, to lunch every day. I put 100 miles on it. I loved it. It was so much fun. And I was very careful. I took it just in residential neighborhoods where cars aren't really a threat. But even there, cars were a threat. So a Land Cruiser, a massive gray Land Cruiser, just turned into me. I was just, riding along in my lane, minding my own business, and it turned into me. And my options were jump off the scooter or die. So I jumped off the scooter and I broke my shoulder. So my shoulder is just, still healing. What is this? 4 months later, still healing. It's been a rough journey, and I had to, rehab it, and I'm only slowly now getting back to some of the weights that I was able to lift before. It really knocked me off my game, and so I just kind of disappeared from the world because, it's tough when you have to type like you have broken arms because you actually have broken bones. I did manage to avoid having to do anything like surgery. It's healed really nicely, and I'm kind of back to where I was, but it was a tough year in that regard, and it knocked me down in terms of being able to produce content, which was frustrating because before that, if you remember, I had an issue with my computer no longer allowing me to record video without putting micro lag into it. So it'd be like a 2-second delay between the words and my lips, which is not okay. So I've finally gotten everything taken care of. I'm finally cranking out videos again. I love this stuff and I miss it. I've got another video set up, so you're going to see different video angles showing up and a lot more content going forward. I decided to centralize this channel. So for those of you that have been following for some time, you may have noticed that I created other channels. It's gotten to be a real nightmare to manage all of them and try to produce content for all of them. So I'm probably going to produce other videos on this channel that are not writing related. Most of them are still going to be story related, so you're going to see me dissecting various stories, but not all of them. Some of the things won't have to do with writing in any way, and I'm still going to post it on this channel, and I hope that doesn't bother people, but it's easier for me to put it all in one place. I will try to keep as much relevant to you guys as I can. It's still, writer channel. I just am going to bring different flavors of content going forward. I'm liking recording videos. I miss doing this stuff. I feel like I'm pretty good at it, so here I come. Anyway, I am going to get back to the writing, and I'll see you guys next week.